What's going on, fam? It's been a while. Your dad is back. Obviously, when there's a new best ball season, your dad cannot help himself. He needs to draft some teams. And today we are doing the NFL playoffs. You're right. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Honestly, best ball can be year round. Whether it's be drafting or sweating the season out or throughout the season and now the playoffs, it just doesn't end. And so your dad is back to help you with some strategy when it comes to drafting your NFL best ball teams. As you know, the wild card weekend will start on Saturday. The games will lock. And so your best ball teams are only good just up until the Super Bowl, end of the Super Bowl. So you got to be drafting and kind of be making some picks, right? Figuring out who do you think will be making it to the Super Bowl and having a full roster when you do get to that Super Bowl final championship round, if you do end up getting there. Because the more players you have, if you have a full roster, the better chances you have in getting the big prizes. So a little bit of a tricky game, trying to figure out who's going to make it. Your dad here does have some favorites from Wild Card Weekend, but as we've seen in the past, shit happens. Favorites lose, underdogs pull through. All of the Washington Commanders last year, who beat Tampa Bay, walked into Tampa Bay, beat them, played the number one seed Detroit Lions, who we thought were going to thrash them, and the Washington Commanders just blew the dome off. Off the Lions and ended up going all the way to the championship versus Philly, who we obviously know made it all the way to the Super Bowl. So you just can't count out those number 7 seeds, right? And I think sometimes we have the expectation that that the number 1 seeds are going to make it all the way, or they're so powerful. The number 2 seeds are the best, but like I said, it's just one game, right? And whichever team comes to play on that game is the team that's going to obviously move on. We know and that's why we love and hate, obviously, when it comes to NFL playoffs. As a fan of a team, being a Patriots fan, I've seen the Giants show up and win 2 Super Bowls when, if it was ever a best of 7, like any other sport we enjoy, like basketball or hockey, the Patriots can probably win that 4-1. So, anything can happen. It's a one-day game. It's a one-game situation. And so, you just can't always think that the favorites are going to go through. Obviously, right now the heavy favorites, obviously from the AFC would be, you got Buffalo, obviously because of Josh Allen. And then you have Jacksonville, who's playing awesome to finish off the season, on both sides of the ball. Then you have Denver too, great defense, home team throughout the playoffs on their end until they get to the Super Bowl. So playing in Denver is not easy, especially in the cold, especially in the altitude. So, but Denver's offense sometimes is hit or miss. Obviously their defense is elite, but that offense sometimes, are they ready to kind of take it all the way there? So interesting things to see. The Patriots, obviously, my Patriots did really well throughout the season. Obviously, a lot of talk about their schedule being really easy, but hey, man, you do take the games you have to play, right? You're not going to go out of your way to play games that's not on your schedule. So, but this is the test. I guess this is the way to find out where they belong. They're getting healthy again with their on both sides of the lines, with Will Campbell coming back and then Milton Williams coming back. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. A lot of good games, and like I said, it can be very close to call right now. On the NFC, on the other side, you have San Francisco having to, playing crazy offensively, but now running into 2 crazy defenses. Playing Seattle last week, couldn't get that done. Now they got to go into Philly and play that defense, and that's not going to be easy. So, and so it does depend on, whether their left tackle, Trent Williams, I believe, is available or not. Obviously, you can see that pass rush from the Philly is going to be problematic. So, and Ricky Pearsall also, is he going to be healthy enough to play? So San Francisco and Philly, very interesting. Green Bay, Chicago. I'm not really sold on Chicago Bears. Like, they had some wins this year that obviously came at the last couple of minutes. I was reading that a lot of last minute wins that weren't really they could have been losses, right? And then you never know where they end up in the seeding. But Green Bay, I don't think they're really considered an underdog. I definitely think that Green Bay has the opportunity to go into Chicago and win. With Jordan Love coming back healthy again. Obviously, I think the concussion worries are past them. Josh Jacobs got a couple of weeks off, so I think that helps. Christian Watson's back. He's looking good. So I really don't think, obviously their defense is taking a hit with Micah Parsons out, but at the same time, like, it's not like, I don't think it's a very tough spot for them to go and play. So then you have Seattle as obviously the number one seed, will get the bye. Defense is elite. They can probably hold them in there for a while, but then that offense, do you trust Sam Darnold? Yes, he beat the 49ers and got that number one seed, but do you really trust them against a Philly? Do you really trust them against I wouldn't really say, like, I don't know if the Green Bay Packers now defense would be very elite if the Green Bay Packers were to get through. But do you really, I don't know, there's something about Sam Darnold, right? I just think that you can throw him off his game. And I think that offense is very heavily built on the running game. So if you stop that and you force Sam Darnold to beat you, like, I don't know, right? Super Bowl, Sam Darnold, I don't know if I can get there yet. But we'll see. Like I said, wild card weekend, kind of figures a lot of things out. And obviously the divisional round will be very interesting once the bye teams, Denver and Seattle, match up with whoever they're going to match up. So it's going to be interesting, right? Everyone had a lot of people had the Rams favorited, and they were looking to get the bye, and that didn't end up happening. So that's kind of the fun part about best ball, because playoff best ball I think the drafts were like unleashed by Underdog and Draftkings like a few weeks ago. I think it was like 3-4 weeks ago, and that time standings looked very different. I started drafting the first couple of weeks, had a lot of Tampa Bay, so I have a lot of Bucky Irving and Mike Evans on early teams. They're probably, that's two players that are not going to be playing, so I'm down to 8 players on my Underdog roster, and I have a lot of, like, in the last week or so, I thought Lamar and Derrick Henry, which looked good for the last couple of seconds of that game on Sunday. A lot of teams with Derrick Henry and Lamar, Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews I was able to get late. Looked good to me, and I was ready to, celebrate. But just as like I said, loop the poop and ended up missing that kick. And sometimes you wonder if that massage guy, Tucker, would have nailed that one. But you can't think like that. Luke played pretty good throughout the season, so he's a young kid. Didn't work out. He'll be back. It is what it is. Pittsburgh makes it. Now they have to play Houston, which is not a fun matchup. But at the same time, like I said, you never know, right? Houston's offense sometimes can stall out quite a bit. Their defense is obviously very elite. So I don't think it's going to be very hard for A-Rod to even maybe have a game like he did against the Ravens. It won't be as easy. So, but as a 5th seed, Houston can make some noise. And you got Jacksonville now. Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, obviously Josh Allen has all the quarterbacks that are his kryptonite. Lamar, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, not on his side. So his path looks a little bit cleaner, but I don't know. I'm never sold on that offense. I really don't think McDermott should be the coach anymore. I think he should be gone. Let's see what happens now with them. All the games will be on the road. So very interesting to see what happens. The only way, I guess, like if they were to if them and the LA Chargers are in the conference finals, then obviously they'll get the home game. But it's going to be, and then the Patriots matching up with the Chargers. A little bit of a scary team, I think. I think the only benefit is obviously the O-line is not that great, but you do got Herbert back there. You got a good offense, and you have a really good defense, right? They play tough defense, so a little bit of a tough matchup, I think, for the for the Pats. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the LA Chargers coming over to Boston on Sunday. So with that, let's just get started. I'll get some drafts going. And if you are able to join, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or if you want to know what I'm doing, please feel free to ask. This is playoff best ball on Underdog, and we're going to just start off here with we'll try the Mitten, the little Mitten 2 $3 buy-in, just to kind of show you what I'm doing and kind of building teams out here. So like I said, it's very a little bit of a different strategy compared to like regular season best ball, where stacks kind of matter, but this one is really like you just want to have 5 players when it comes to Super Bowl. But at the same time, you can have the right 5 players. You could have picked the 5 players, but the other 5 players that you pick also matter, because you need to get through the different rounds. So as you can see right here, really quick here. Okay, I'm going to be up quite a bit here, so I'll quickly. So I think with this team, as you can see, sorry, I have a couple tons of seconds here. So the 2 out of the 6 advance. So if you're the top 2, you're good, you advance. Then it's only the top of the 5, and then top of the 5, and then 248 seat final, with the first prize being 5G. So it's a little bit of you got to be able to pick the right players that can get you through the wild card round. So you are going to be picking players from Denver, Seattle. You got to make sure you have some players that can do well in the wild card round to get you through, and then you get the benefit of having a Bo Nix, RJ Harvey, or a Charbonnet, or whoever it be. Interesting on that front. So with this one, I'm going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to go with let's pick Josh Allen. And then I'll kind of show you how I go through building a Buffalo, thinking that Buffalo's going to make it all the way. So I pick Josh Allen, and so then my whole thing here, you look at the strategy when it comes to best ball here, is I'm thinking that Buffalo, I'm going to build this team to make it seem like Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. The tricky part of Buffalo, obviously, is it's a run-heavy team, so it's really just Josh Allen and James Cook, and then you have the ancillary pieces with Shakir, Kincaid, if he's healthy. That guy cannot stay healthy, but Dawson Knox, you have Ty Johnson. You have those kind of players that will help, but don't usually put up a really high score. So you really just relying on Josh Allen and Brandon Cooks, because with Josh Allen, he's going to put up points and he spreads the ball around. So not really one pass catcher he kind of locks in on. If you have James Cook, then you're hoping that the Buffalo makes it through him, which they have relied on him quite a bit this season as well. But for me, I'm really just relying on Josh Allen. Maybe I'll add a couple of Buffalo players to get the 5, but I'm really going to go heavy on the East Coast. The East Coast, the NFC players, because like I said, Buffalo is really just all about Josh Allen, James Cook. So if I don't have James Cook, I'm just going to rely on Josh Allen and maybe hope I can get the team that comes out from the NFC correct. So with that, I think I'm going to go with a Los Angeles Ram, thinking that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. So with this one, I will probably stick to, see what, so he takes Kittle. So I'm probably gonna have to go with I'll go with Devontae or Kyron. You know what? Let's take Devontae Adams. I'm gonna take Devontae Adams. He's healthy now. Apparently, his hamstring injury is over. So I'm gonna take him. I expected the player after me to take the LA to kind of create his stack. So now I'm kind of have the ability to tweak who I like. And I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith. So here's my expectation is I really think that Philly will beat San Francisco. Like I know San Francisco offense is really good, but Philly's defense is I think too good. And then I think the problem is San Francisco's defense is shit right now. They are letting some big chunk of yardage. They're allowing a lot of points. So with them, I think that Philly should win. Like I said, you can't guarantee anything in the playoffs, but I feel like Philly's going to win. They're going to take that game, so I feel like Philly will move on to the divisional round. And I think that the Los Angeles Rams should be able to handle Carolina. I know all this talk about Carolina beat Rams, but I think now they're at full go. I think that Carolina is just seriously just backed their way into the playoffs. Luckily, with that weird ass tie, but for first place. But I really think that Buffalo, the Rams will beat the Panthers, and then you have an interesting setup because it does depend on what happens in the other games to see where it match up, because it potentially could be where they match up, and so it's very interesting where I gotta be careful because I might lose one of the teams after the divisional round. So I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs. I could have gone with Shakir. I don't know. The thing with Shakir is that he's good, but like, what is he really gonna give me? Like 10 points, 8 points, and so Brooklyn bum with Buffalo. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna take Goddard here. So like I said, I'm going into the expectation that, okay, I have Josh Allen. Josh Allen makes the Super Bowl, okay? My hope is try to build a team that I'm trying to pick who is coming from the NFC side. So I've kind of planted my flag with Philly, LA, and Green Bay. I'm thinking one of those three teams hopefully comes out from the NFC, and then I just need basically... What I will probably do is try to get two of each from each team. So right now I'm feeling good with Philly. I think I'm feeling good with Philly with Devonta and Goddard. Try to get one more from LA, and then one from Green Bay, and then kind of build my team that way. Like I said, with Buffalo, it's kind of tricky because it can go to anybody. So it's kind of interesting as to who I think will. So I'm going to go with Blake Corum. So I get a second LA player. So now I have two Rams and I have two Philly players. And then I'm probably going to pick up Christian Watson here with my next pick. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Christian Watson. So now I was kind of talking about, I have my two Green Bay players, I have my two Ram players, and I have my two Philly players. So what I'm gonna need to do now is try to get three Buffalo players. So I have one with Josh Allen as the quarterback. I'm gonna try to pick up a couple and see if I can build my team that way. And then my hope would be that I have enough Buffalo players to get to the Super Bowl with three, and then I just need two of these, from any of these three teams to make the Super Bowl. So my whole thing is I need Green Bay, LA, or Philly to make the Super Bowl. But like I was saying, I sometimes get caught up in the Super Bowl and I forget that, I won't forget, but I kind of maybe overlook the fact that I need to get to the Super Bowl, right? So it's like, as a team, I can't just think I'm just gonna make it to the Super Bowl by I make it to the Super Bowl, but I have to get there first. So I have to win the first 3 rounds to get to that final. So it's interesting. So it is a little bit of a thing. You do need to have the right players in the wild card round. Like if my players here in the wild card go for 5 each, right, then it doesn't make a difference. I'm not getting onto the next round of the pod. So or I'm not moving on to the next pod, right? So I got to make sure, I just got to hope that these players go off in the wild card round enough to get me through to the divisional round, hopefully go up there too, get to the to the finals, the conference finals, and then obviously into the Super Bowl finale for this contest. So it is very fun, but it is very in terms of trying to figure out what the best way to go about doing it. It's not fun. So I'm gonna take Ty Johnson here as one of my Buffalo players. And the reason I'm going to do that is I just want a running back. And I think Ty Johnson is he's not James Cook, but he does have a little bit of a role, in the red zone. He does get some carries. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding another Buffalo player. So if I can get 3 Buffalo players, and then like I said, I'm going to have these 2 players from each of these 3 teams, I can have a 5-man roster in the Super Bowl if I make it that far. So, so right now what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to look for a player that I think can probably have a good game. So I'm going to go with, let's go with Colston Loveland. I think he'll be decent, I'm hoping. I really think that Chicago Green Bay game will shoot out as well. So the hope is that I get, like I said, Colston Loveland is. I'm not going to make a stack with Chicago, but I'm just hoping he has a good game that can help me get through the next round as one of my top scorers from either the wide receivers, tight ends, or the as a flex. So just for scoring purposes, what they take as a scoring is your quarterback, your one running back, 2 wide receiver tight ends, and then a flex, which can be either the running back, wide receiver, or tight end. So that's the hope there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off and try to get another Buffalo player. And so I will see who I can take here. I have Brandon Cooks, who kind of scares me. I don't know. He had that good game. Obviously, we all saw that good game that he had versus Philly, and then I just don't know whether or not he's able to replicate that. The wide receiver room is really messed up, so I'm gonna try to keep it safe and maybe go with Dawson Knox. He's on the field, and he gives you that ability to in case Kincaid is not healthy or gets hurt like he usually does, Dawson Knox will be out there for majority of the snaps. So, I'm gonna go with Dawson Knox as my 3rd Buffalo player. Like I said, not the sexiest of names, but the hope is that I have enough juice just to get through, and so the expectation being that my team in the Super Bowl is able to get through the first 3 pods and get to the Super Bowl. So here's the narrative, the story I've kind of created. So Buffalo wins against Jacksonville, is going to come out of the AFC. They're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, so my whole thing is that Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl with this team. I have Josh Allen from Buffalo. I have Ty Johnson from Buffalo. And I have Dawson Knox from Buffalo. So I have 3 players from Buffalo that I'm hoping that will go to the Super Bowl and will have a bit of a role in the game. They're not 20-point guys, but guys like Ty Johnson are the guys like sometimes in the Super Bowl that kind of come out of nowhere and catch a pass and run into the end zone, like, so, and as my third running back, if I get 8 to 10 points out of him, I'm happy. Because what I have to remember is that a lot of the teams I might be playing against in the next round might not have a full roster, depending on how they drafted, right? Maybe they drafted the nuts in the wild card round, but all their players got kicked out of the wild card, or they lost their games and now they're not in the next pod, and he only has maybe one of the players or two of the players in the next pod, only has like 3 players even active. So you got to have a lot of pod luck in terms of that too as well. You got to make sure the more players you have that you can advance safely, that's the biggest thing. So as you can see, I really didn't take any players that are playing each other in the first round, because then that kind of limits my ability to have more players in the next round. So as you can see, I picked, I guess I shouldn't say that, because I picked Chicago and I picked Colson Loveland, who's playing Green Bay. And then but I'll kind of backtrack. I'll finish my story first. My story is Buffalo is going from the AFC side, and then on the NFC, I have Josh Jacobs and Christian Watson from Green Bay. I have Blake Corum and I have Devontae Adams from the Rams. And then I have Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. So like I said, I have 3 Buffalo players. I need 5 players. That's the most I can have scored. So my expectation is that hopefully one of Green Bay or LA Rams or the Philly Eagles make it to the Super Bowl. And so where I have 3 players from Buffalo, I have 2 of the players from either the Green Bay Rams or Philly. That gives me a 5-man team in the Super Bowl. And so I picked the Rams because, obviously we love the Rams. We think they're going to win against Carolina. And that potentially can match him up with, Philly potentially can match him up with Seattle. Just don't know. But took Blake Corum and Devontae Adams that have roles on the team. And then for Green Bay, I took the top 2 players on their team. Green Bay for Josh Jacobs and Christian Watson. If they were to get through to against Chicago, then that really helps me in the divisional round when they will play Seattle, because they're the number 7 seed. So if they do win, they're playing Seattle, so I don't have to worry about them playing LA or Philly. So that would be good. But in that case, then obviously if I think LA and Philly are going to move on, they'll be playing each other. So I'll lose one of those players. But the benefit I guess I have is, at least I have I'll have 2 come out. At least I'm guaranteed to have 2 players in the conference finals, and then just hope those 2 players make it on. Like what I'm talking about is either Philly or LA if they were to play each other. If for example Philly wins, I have Devonta Smith and Goddard in the conference finals with my 3-man Buffalo team. So I'll have 5 players in the third round of this in this contest. So like I said, picking one of those 3 teams, I picked Colson Loveland. You might ask why did I pick him, because I'm playing Green Bay. I picked Colson Loveland. I'm just hoping for that game to shoot out, and I can help Colson Loveland can help me get through into the next round. And if he doesn't, and if Green Bay loses and Colson Loveland moves on, I still have the Rams and Philly if I feel like they're going to win. And then Colson Loveland can still help me in the next round. And if they were to get to the Super Bowl somehow, I'll have 4 players instead of 5, which is obviously not the greatest thing, but at least at 4 is I'll take 4 over 1, right, or 2. So 4 is still going to be above average when you get to the Super Bowl, because a lot of players, if we kind of go through this draft, just to kind of show you, a lot of guys don't really pick, what can I say, with that in mind. So this room probably seemed pretty sharp. Yeah, so you have the guy that took Barkley, he took ETN, then he took Diggs, Trevor Lawrence, DeAndre Swift, Parker Washington, Chicago. So he's obviously, yeah, I guess he's in Green Bay. He thinks that Jacksonville will make it all the way with either Chicago, or he just needs, I think he has 4. Yeah, so I guess he's fine too. Yeah, pretty sharp room, I guess. Yeah, so Jay Benson, this guy, yeah, he's relying. Yeah, so Jay Benson, he has a lot of guys that are on bye. So JSN, Harvey, Sutton, Nix, and so he's relying on a lot of guys that could potentially get him through, but be very hard. He would need career games from Hurts, Cook. He has Burden, Booty. Like, yeah, it's gonna be very hard to get. Yeah, he doesn't even have a full team. So yeah, Jay Benson, thanks for your contribution. You don't even have a full team for the wild card, because if I get this guy, he's got 1, 2, 3. He's got 2 quarterbacks. The quarterbacks won't matter. So he's got 4 players. So yeah, like guys like that aren't really. Yeah, so there's one guy we don't have to worry about. So our chances went up to 20%. Let's see, Les Smith BK. He went with an all New England. So he's thinking New England makes the playoffs. He doesn't care about anybody else, but he only took 1 player from the NFC, or 2 players, I guess, the quarterback, Jordan Love. So yeah, like it's a little bit tricky relying on like a 1 full team, because you got to make sure that New England blows out LA and puts up a huge score. All 5 guys are putting up huge scores, because like it could be like where, like, if Travion has a great game but Drake doesn't make any passing touchdowns and maybe steals from Ramondre, yeah, you're gonna have Travion that's gonna do well, and maybe AJ Brown. Little tough. Yeah, he might be close to, I think his team's probably similar to mine, where you're just hoping to get a good score. So yeah, anyways, like I said, it's too early to really judge until after Monday, when the last game is over. But like for me, I didn't go for a second quarterback, so then maybe that's a little bit of a mistake on my part. Instead of Colston Loveland, maybe I should have gone with a quarterback. But at that point, it would have either been Justin Herbert. So I guess, like, for me, I could have taken Justin Herbert as a second quarterback. But my whole thing is I'm relying on Josh Allen. Like, if Josh Allen, they don't make the playoffs, they don't make the Super Bowl, this team's gonna be done anyways, because I only have like a minimal numbers, and I don't have a quarterback either. So this team is out after the first. If Jacksonville beats Buffalo, my team is already done, because I'm hoping that Josh Allen makes it all the way to the Super Bowl. So, like I said, very a little bit different type of strategy involved. You got to think through it. I think, like I said, sometimes my problem is I kind of get too, you get a little bit too. Kind of like set up on the Super Bowl, and you kind of forget that you have to get there first. So it's important to just kind of, like, talk it through, or just kind of create a narrative or create a story, right, as to what you think will happen. So yeah, that was the first draft. So you have any comments, or let me know what you think. It's just, like I said, it's good to kind of just be able to kind of walk through it, go through it with everybody, and let me know what they think. So should we do another one? Let's get another one. Let's do a DraftKings one. So maybe let's do a DraftKings. So we'll do a DraftKings play action. It's also a $3 contest. So So we'll switch over here to DraftKings, and we'll go through this. So this is a little bit of a different setup. So obviously we just went through Underdog. Underdog has wide receiver and tight end grouped into one, and you are only starting 5. In DraftKings, you're starting 6, and because they've given a tight end a separate position, so a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. And so that way they've given you a bigger roster. This is a 12-player roster, and obviously it's PPR compared to Underdog, which is non-PPR or 0.5 PPR. Sorry, 0.5 PPR, not PPR. So it's important to understand that there's a little bit more different strategies involved. The tight ends are a little bit of a premium, but you got to be smart with who you're taking, especially if you're taking stacks of a team, because like for example, if I was taking Buffalo, I'd probably want to take a Kincaid. I did take a Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox fills that tight end spot pretty nicely. But like for example, if you believe San Francisco is going to beat Philadelphia, which could obviously happen, then a George Kittle paired with a McCaffrey and a Purdy will be awesome to have. And all you need to do is maybe add a Pearsall or a Juwan Jennings, and you have 4 players. Or if you get all of them, you get 5. And if you move on to the divisional round, the San Francisco 49ers, you're looking good. You can just add a few pieces from the AFC. Like I said, it's looking good. So, little bit of like I said, a little bit of a different strategy. If you want to get the stack, you got to make sure you get your tight end as well. So I got the number 1 pick. It's a little bit, this one obviously is kind of set up for you with Puka. I will probably take Puka. So what my whole expectation with this team is, depending on what happens, depends on who kind of falls back to me in the second or third round. My expectation would be that I can kind of get 2 or 3, hopefully, Rams, and then kind of build my team that way. Ideally, if I can get Stafford and a Kyron that's looking good, and then I can try to fill in the rest of my roster using some players from both I guess you can use both the NFC, AFC. Because I'm kind of going in on the Rams, I won't take any Carolina Panthers. Philly would be kind of hard. So I kind of ideally want to maybe in this case stick to a Chicago or a Green Bay, because they probably wouldn't play each other. So depending on what happens, like if I think that Chicago wins and I think LA wins, I think Philly wins. So Philly would pay Chicago and LA would pay Seattle. So yeah, I think the Chicago Green Bay on the AFC side will at least get me through to the conference finals at least. So can kind of build that way. So obviously the guy took Stafford, he takes Drake May. Great job, buddy. 2 quarterbacks. You kind of want to be careful with that. But the guy took Devontae Adams, so I think he's going to take Kyron. So I'm getting kind of screwed on that side. So I'm going to have to take Puka and maybe just build an AFC team. Kind of go from there. Don't understand some guys sometimes thinking 2 quarterbacks, and this guy, I don't know what he's doing. So Josh Allen's is going to probably take he takes Kyron. So gonna have to make a little bit of a decision here, and what I'm going to do is So I'm going to try to build a AFC team and then just kind of have Puka and some LA Rams to kind of come out of the NFC. I'm taking ETN, I'm taking Nico Collins. So I'm going to try to see if I can build a Jacksonville and a Houston stack, hoping that those 2 teams will make it. They potentially could play each other in the playoffs. If Jacksonville wins, they'll be the 3. And then you have Denver at 1. If New England wins, then Jacksonville in New England. So Yeah, it depends on that Jacksonville. I'm sorry, it depends on the New England and LA Chargers. If LA wins, for example, the Chargers win, then they're going to play Denver for sure. And then you have Houston playing Jacksonville. If I think they're going to win both, if I think or hope they win both their games, that will happen. So, yeah, so I would need New England to win. If New England wins, then they would play Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville wins, and then Houston would play Denver. So a little bit of an interesting stack there. So I'm going to take my quarterback. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence, and then I'm going to think that I'm going to take a Parker Washington. So I have 3 Jacksonville players now, and so I have so my whole thing is that Jacksonville's beating Buffalo. So Jacksonville's going to be moving on. Like I said, Jacksonville could be playing Houston if Houston wins, Jacksonville wins, and LA Chargers win their game. So maybe I need to double up with some LA Chargers as well. I just hope that's the case. Because if LA Chargers win, they're definitely going to be playing Denver. So, and then it all depends on, like I said, if I'm thinking Jacksonville's going to win, Jacksonville's going to beat Buffalo, and then Houston beats Pittsburgh, so then Houston and Jacksonville will play each other. And Denver will be playing. So I could potentially look at Denver too. Denver could be playing Houston, so that's interesting too. So maybe I could. It depends if I want to leave the Houston and then go all in Denver. That's also a possibility as well. See what happens here. Okay, so that. So what I did was I took Dallas Goedert. And the reason I took Dallas Goedert is I think if I can get Jacksonville, I just need one more wide receiver from Jacksonville and I can create that stack, or I go for Dotson. So I probably won't get that because he took Brian Thomas Jr., so I won't get him. So what I can do is maybe go for Dotson if I think Philly will make it through. And then I would need to think that Puka can make it through. So maybe I'll go after Higbee. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to take Tyler Higbee. So what I'm planning is, what I'm thinking is going to happen is like my Jacksonville and LA teams go to the playoffs. I'm sorry, go to the Super Bowl. Now I got to figure out what I can do with, like, do I just take one-offs or do I just take... Yeah, let's take Woody Marks. So I just gotta try. Sorry, I just gotta plan this out. I'm trying to figure out what I can do with this team. So this guy took CJ Stroud, so he's kind of screwed me there. Yeah, so these guys, they're kind of playing. They really don't have any strategy. They're just going all in. It's fine. You're going with Buffalo, but then you have. So he's, sometimes you got a lot of players that don't have any strategy. They're just kind of getting through. They just want to get their $3 back by getting to the next round. It's very hard to really do really well if you don't have, some understanding of what to do in the next round. Like, does your team make sense in the next round if you get through, right? That's what I said. If you're playing with all your players, if you have a lot of overlap in one game, you understand that they're going to be gone, and those players are going to be gone once they lose. So don't want to create too much of an overlap. Josh Jacobs at 44. That's a hell of a value, but unfortunately, he's only going to be able to score 2 out of those 3. So, but I think at that point, you take Josh Jacobs, try to get the pod luck. Just try to get through the wild card round. So 3 picks left. I do want to maybe go with, can't go with Houston, so I might want to go with, like I said, maybe go Dotson, maybe try to wait for the last round for him. Go with Jaden Reed, and let's go with Jordan Love. So if they were to make it through, Green Bay makes it through. I got so I'm just picking Green Bay because I think if Green Bay can make it through, no, that's not going to be it. No, that's not the right. I got to pick another Green Bay player. I think Green Bay can make it through. Then I officially think Dotson is gone. I really like. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a tricky situation here because I think that. So I might have taken too many. Obviously, I had to take 3 tight ends because I needed another piece of Higbee. I took Goddard, so I'm gonna have to stick with and get Dotson. And my just hope is that Jacksonville makes it to the Super Bowl and either plays the LA Rams or the Philadelphia Eagles. I have some Houston in there. I'm hoping that Houston makes it through. I got Woody Marks and Nico Collins, and I got Jaden Reed and Jordan Love. I think like those players are now for me just hopefully to get me out of the wild card round. So if these guys put up a high score, I can kind of piggyback off that and get them through. And then just hope Jacksonville wins. Maybe it's a really tightly like a defensive game. Like it's a you never know, like a 10-9 game, right? Like, so at that point, if Jacksonville is playing a very tight game versus Buffalo, they don't put him any points, I'm going to be screwed because I have a lot of Jacksonville exposure. So my hope is that Puka nukes, Nico Collins nukes, if ETN doesn't do well for them, and then maybe Goddard or Higbee, one of those two nukes. Woody Marks nukes and then Reed and Jordan Love. So instead of using Trevor Lawrence as my quarterback, I can use Jordan Love and Jaden Reed. So like I said, my team is built. The narrative here is that team is built that Jacksonville makes it to the Super Bowl, and then I have either the LA Rams coming through to the Super Bowl on the other side, or Green Bay, or Philly, or Philly makes it through, and I can go that route. So narrative here, the story here, my team is Jacksonville. Like I said, Jacksonville makes it to the Super Bowl and plays against either the LA Rams or the Philadelphia Eagles. And if that happens, and I'm able to process all the way to the final round, I'm looking good for the Super Bowl if those two teams either come out from the NFC side. So it's a bit of a challenge. There's very limited times where you're going to get all the players you want, just because it's going to be the draft room. It all depends. Sometimes you have an easy draft room where they're just auto drafting, or they have no idea what they're doing, and then you have some that are going to ruin your draft by just picking random players and not really making sense of their team. So yeah, you're going to get a little bit of both. And it's just, it is what it is. You just gotta battle through it. You just can't think it's gonna be rational drafting, so you have to kind of prepare yourself and be able to kind of flip on the spot or make moves or switch it up and decide to go with different teams. So that is it for today. I just want to kind of get through this, and I just want to see how much interest is out there. If you really like it, what I did, if you like what I'm talking about, please like, subscribe, or comment. Let me know if you want to see more drafts coming from me. Didn't get a lot of viewership today, but I'm hoping if I put this video up on YouTube, to anyone that's looking for some strategy or looking for some things to help them out, that they are able to watch it. And if they like it, like I said, please feel free to like it, subscribe, comment, let me know, and I will start doing some more videos tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday leading up to Saturday, depending on how many contests we have available. So that is it. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks again to my fam. Thanks again to all the children out there. Your fantasy football dad is always here to help you guys out with your best ball questions, and making sure that my kids are taken care of, and I can be able to provide the best advice like a dad would. All right, take care, everybody, and best of luck in your drafts. And if I don't talk to you till then, enjoy the playoffs, enjoy the Super Bowl, and when we get onto the off season best ball, your dad will be back. But for that, all right, take care, everybody. Bye.